Here is one fact about every Johto Pokémon, excluding regional variants and alternate forms. They'll have their own video. When it comes to the 3 Johto starters, Chikorita was the only one who was finalized in the Space World demo. Bayleaf, however, was drastically different in the Space World demo, looking like some small creature in a flower. As for Meganium in the demo, their beta name was Hanaryu, which translates to either flower dragon or flower style. Cyndaquil's Scarlet and Violet Dex portrait shows them with a Skarmory, which is likely a reference to the episode Hot Matches. Ash's Quilava took the longest to evolve of any Pokemon in the anime, taking 507 episodes total. Typhlosion has a scrapped gender difference in Gen 4, where the female's snout pattern covered more of their face. I wonder if there's anything else that involves Typhlosion and a female. There's a chance that Ash's Totodile might actually be Misty's, since it was never actually confirmed whose Pokeball caught Totodile. In Gen 2, Silver will have a level 16 Croconaut in his Azalea Town battle. However, Croconaut doesn't evolve until level 18, making Silver a cheater. For Relegator's evolution level of 30 is the lowest of any final form starter. Sentra is in a censored Moo milk card in the TCG, which originally had Sentra drinking milk from some cow-looking thing. The Fur Escalator meme originally started on May 15th of 2019, and in total, the meme lasted for roughly 2 years. All of those steps. And for what? Hoot Hoot's beta design originally had freckles instead of eyelashes. In the Space World demo, Noctowl was originally Mono Flying type, and we still have no fully evolved, non-legendary Mono Flying type. Ladybot was originally green and not linked to Ledian. There was also a separate Ladybug Pokemon who had stars on their back, which would have made Ladybug's category of 5-star make more sense. Ledian is likely based on Postman, which Game Freak made in 1994. According to the anime, Spinnerack webs can make your skin smooth. Ariados randomly got Toxic Thread as a signature move in Sun and Moon. As shown in Stadium 2, all of Crobat's team are in the bottom row. Chinchou and Lantern are the only electric types in the Water 2 egg group. In Emerald, a cool trainer in Victory Road has an earthquaking Lantern. A move Lantern is not able to learn, making this Lantern illegal. The Spiky-eared Pichu was originally going to be a white Pichu. This was changed because of a typo Pichu's Japanese voice actress made. In the Sinnoh games, a roughneck named Kirby only has a Cleffa. This is likely a reference to everyone's favorite Godslayer, Kirby. Of the 5 special episodes in Explorers of Sky, Igglybuff the Prodigy has the most basic art of them all. Pokemon the First movie lists Togepi as Pokemon number 152. Togetic's Japanese name is Togechick, which roughly translates to Thornchick. Natu has a scrapped evolution between them and Xatu. Xatu's name comes from Xat, a Native American carved pole, but also the Pokemon Company wanting a Pokemon for every letter. In Heart Gold and Soul Silver, there's an obscure gift Mareep in Violet City. In the Pokemon Center, an NPC gives you certain gifts for certain phrases. It's practically random for each save file as it's based on save data, but in particular, you can get a Mareep, Wooper, or Slugma egg. The reason Fluffy has 2 A's is because of the noise sheep make. Ampharos was originally meant to be an electric dragon type. This is even referenced in their Japanese name, Denryu, which can mean electric current or electric dragon. Blossom was originally dark blue like Gloom and Vileplume. Marrow's tail can actually glow, as shown in Pokemon Go. Azumaro's design went through quite a few changes, with the 2 designs prior to the final one being yellow instead of blue. Running from Sudowoodo in Gen 2 leads to them hopping over the trees. Politoed has 2 beta designs, one of which had a mustache. Hoplip's Japanese name is Hanako, which comes from the Japanese words for leaf and root. Skiploom is named last in the Gold and Silver Poké-Rap. Jumpluff's beta design was pink and heavily cat-themed. Whitney has concept art showing her playing softball with an Apom, though interestingly she's never actually had an Apom specifically. Thanks to Sunkern's even stat distribution, 30 across the board, they can get 5 stars in every Poké-Athon category. Bonus fact, up until Gen 7, Sunkern Unicorn had the lowest base stat total of all. Going back to the special episodes of Explorers of Sky, Sunflores is the only one to award a unique item, the Sun Scarf. Yanma was almost given gender differences in Gen 4, with the females having lighter stripes on their wings. This is Beta Wooper, and I can't decide who looks more like a friend. Quagsire's English name comes from Quagmire and Sire, and Quagsire's German name is Moorlord, coming from Moor and Lord. Espeon was originally going to evolve with an item called the Heartstone. Espeon was also going to be yellow instead of purple. You likely know that Umbreon was originally mono poison type, but you may not know about their lost evolution item, the Poison Stone. In the Ultra games, Murkrow has punishment as an impossible egg move. Only Murkrow or Honchkrow, who don't get it naturally, can pass it down. Slowking randomly got a signature move in Gen 9, Chilly Reception. Mischievous disappears before their necklace when fainting in Stadium 2, which may reference Dex entries about the orbs being a power source. In Gen 2, only 2 unknown letters could actually be shiny. This is because in Gen 2, shininess and unknown letters were tied to IVs, and coincidentally, it was the I and V unknown who could be shiny. Wobbuffet's Japanese name, Sonans, comes from the Japanese phrase, "That's the way it is," which is based on the Japanese comedian Hayashiya Sanpei, whose iconic catchphrase was, "That's the way it is, ma'am." Girafareg's second head was originally an inverse of the main head. Pineco's Japanese name is Kunugi-dama, Kunugi meaning sawtooth oak, referencing how Pineco is a bagworm. Forretress's beta design shows what they look like without the shell. If you send a hardy Serene Grace Dunsparce from Gens 3 or 4 to Gen 9, they'll have a 50% chance of evolving into a 3-segment Dunsparce. This is thanks to how personality values work in those games. Gligar may be based on a facehugger from the Alien series, as shown in their beta design and their X and Y Dex entry. Steelix has more segments in their Silver Sprite than any other game. In the Space World demo, Snubbull was a fully evolved Psychic Pokemon. Granbull is the first Pokemon seen evolving in the Mystery Dungeon series. Quillfish is categorized as the Balloon Pokemon, which they share with the Igglybuff line and Drifloon. Scizor was originally bug flying like Scyther and evolved at level 41. Shuckle can deal over millions of points of damage. It's a whole process that involves a bunch of moves, abilities, and items, but Shuckle can deal anywhere around 400 to 700 million damage. In Black and White, Heracross learns the Venoshock TM and not Bulk Up. This was a coding error from how TM learn sets worked back then. Oddly, Sneasel's Gold and Silver sprite was slightly changed in the US, with the eyes becoming less sharp and given a highlight. Teddy Ursa may be based on the scrapped Space World Firestarter, as shown by comparing that Firestarter to Teddy Ursa's beta design. The anime has a counterpart to the Little and Big Dipper, featuring Teddy Ursa and Ursa Ring instead. In the anime, Flannery's 2 Slugma are nicknamed Mag and Meg. The Gold and Silver Prima Guide states that Blaine's new Pokemon, Macargo, will make your skin crawl. Swinub's shiny colors changed quite a bit within the first few generations, going from blue in Gen 2, gray in Gen 3, to green from Gen 4 onwards. Piloswine was made to be a pig Pokemon for the Chinese Zodiac. Corsola's Silver Dex entry mentions a community built on groups of them, which likely inspired Pacific Town in the very next generation. Remoraid's Japanese name is Teppo Uwo, which means gunfish, which makes sense with Remoraid's beta design. As for Octillery's beta design, they looked more like a tank. Sorry for the common Octillery fact. If only there was another one. Because Delibird has the monster sprite in the Gen 2 party menu, having Delibird use fly makes them look like a flying Rhydon. Mantine's beta design makes the water flying typing make more sense. Skarmory's gold sprite originally had them with a more hooked beak. Houndour was originally mono fire and evolved way later at level 35. In X and Y, Mabel's Houndoom actually levels down between her battles, going from level 48 in her first battle to level 46 in her next one. During the Gen 4 era, a toy called the Battle Dome playset was released, and the prototype of this playset has some interesting Pokemon, notably a shiny Kingdra with a purple head and red body. In Pokemon Crystal only, Phanpy has Water Gun as an egg move. Donphan's Japanese Silver sprite had a different colored trunk. This was fixed in the US version to match how Donphan's trunk actually is. Porygon 2 was originally going to look quite different, more like a lion. Some think this is based on on Pon the Lion, a Japanese donut chain mascot, but Pon the Lion didn't appear until 4 years later, so it's just a coincidence. Stantler's Japanese name is Odoshishi, named after a shishi odishi, a device for scaring deer from crops. Prior to Gen 6, only the father could pass down egg moves. This meant a lot of Pokemon couldn't have more than one egg move. Pokemon in the field egg group, however, didn't have this problem. All thanks to Smeargle, who can learn about any egg move you'd want. Tyrogue has the lowest base stat total of all fighting types. On top of that, they also have the lowest attack of all fighting types. Between Gens 2 and 6, only Hitmontop could learn Triple Kick, and in Gen 9, Triple Kick is once again only learned by Hitmontop. Smoochum was originally Mono Ice and named Ripu, Japanese for lip. As for Elekid, they were originally named Arabebi and were male only. Finally, for Beta Magby, they originally evolved at level 15 instead of 30. Mumu the Miltank needs 7 orange berries to be fully healed. If the berries fully heal her and she only had 1 HP before eating them, then Mumu is between level 19 and 21, depending on the IVs and EVs. Blissey was originally named Happy and simply evolved at level 45. Raiku's gone through quite a few design changes, first looking completely different in the beta, then being saber-toothed prior to Gold and Silver's release, and in Gold and Silver, Raiku's head was different to what we know. Entei has the highest HP of any fire type with base 115 HP. In Fire Red and Leaf Green, you can catch a Johto Beast in the post-game, and of the three, Suicune is by far the easiest to catch. Due to a glitch with roaming legendaries in Gen 3, if a move like Roar was used, the game would treat it like they fainted. Both Raikou and Entei will know Roar when you encounter them, making it pretty risky to try to catch them without a Master Ball, but you don't have to worry about Suicune since they won't have Roar. The Space World demo has an unfinished version of Larvitar's sprite, and honestly, I kinda want a plushie of this silly little guy. In Pokemon Sleep, you encounter Pupitar if you don't move in your sleep. Tyranitar is the only Pokemon to be a version-exclusive counterpart 3 times, being the counterpart to Salamence in Diamond and Pearl, Aggron in X and Y, and Komodo in Sword and Shield. You likely know how Lugia was created for the anime, but there's more. Lugia was created by Takeshi Shudo and was said to be a creator of life. Originally dubbed Pokemon X, they were called a maternal Pokemon, and Shudo's biggest regret regarding Lugia was their gender portrayal. Lugia didn't originally have a gender like in the games, but Shudo later decided that Lugia had to be feminine, and regretted not pushing harder on having Lugia voiced by a woman. Ho-Oh was a mono flying type in the Space World demo. Finally, you know how almost every generation has a Mew clone? Well, Celebi, the first one, really was specifically made to be a Mew clone. Celebi was always meant to be at the bottom of the decks and be like Mew, and so Hironobu Yoshida designed Celebi as a small cute fairy. And there you have it, folks. One fact about every Johto Pokemon. How many of these did you know already? Which of these facts was your favorite? Do you now see Lugia as a maternal figure? Let me know in the comments below, and become a member if you're interested. It's only $2 a month. Have a nice day, you wonderful people.
You think this is funny?
In a cosmic sort of way, yes.
Well, Mr. Funny Man, is this how you get your sick kicks?
What? It's just an ordinary crabby... Oh my goodness!
Okay, yeah, the scrapped lore of Typhlosion and Octillery is quite the read. From Typhlosion shapeshifting into a man to get with a young girl, to Octillery appearing in a man's literal wet dream, both of which led to a child being born, might I add. But as fun as it is to make jokes about these stories, it's important to remember that this lore is scrapped lore. And if you took a deeper look into this lore, not in that way, it's easy to see why they were scrapped. So yeah, just let people say they like Typhlosion again. Scrapped lore is practically just fanfiction written by Game Freak staff.